Hey everyone, in this episode we're going to be finishing the cantilever and basically anything that remains for the main floor system. We're going to be covering it probably with stego, sealants and all the shebang so that we can protect it from rainy season just in case we don't get to it sooner. By the way, in this episode I'm on my own because Marcela, can you guess where she is? Yeah, she's on vacation, so I'm going to be running the show on my own. Fortunately, we have some awesome help that's allowing us to move very, very quickly. And yeah, this is the first time of the year that I'm wearing a t-shirt. We're at a cozy 45 degrees Fahrenheit, 7 degrees Celsius. We're not necessarily out of the woods yet. You can see the reservoir back there is unmelting, but still a little bit frozen. So let's get into it. So with our amazing help, we are moving at lightning speed actually. As you can see, we've been installing all the connectors for the cantilever. As you might have seen from our previous episode, they actually get connected backwards. And the reason is uplift. The typical rules for cantilevers are that you have a 2:1 ratio. So basically on this side, we're gonna have 8 foot, and then the cantilever is going to cantilever 4 foot. That's typically the case, and the tiny house it was 4 by 2 feet, and so on. That's basically the general rule. So pretty exciting to have our help, really. They are making significant progress. Okay, I wanted to show you this post, this metal post. This metal post was not in the original design from the engineer. So we had to make some adjustments to that design, and actually we had to make some adjustments right here on the fly. What we ended up doing is we added a second 2x, and then this 2x is going to allow us to strap to the cantilevered LVLs that go this way. Originally, these LVLs would go all the way to these double LVLs, and then they would hook up to a connector. But because of these posts, we're going to be strapping it with an LSTA24, and we'll take care of it. We have a requirement from the engineer to tie these joists, actually all of them, actually every other joist with an H3 tie. You might have seen that on the tiny house where I was saying like 30, 60, 90 cents. Inflation is crazy in those H3 ties. The way we do it is actually we end up adding this LVL right here, and we put it on both sides. The reason we do that is obviously because it's very difficult to install just the H3 tie to the joist, because the top of the H3 tie is not hitting the flange, and in reality I don't really want to touch the flange. I'd rather put the strength somewhere else. So basically we end up creating this kind of web stiffener with LVLs. Why did I choose LVLs? Because they are thicker, so we can run very long nails and they hold each other, and then the H3 ties hold the joist to the wall and to the joist, and it is secure. I'm here this morning to try to protect the entire floor system from rain. I'm using a stego vapor barrier. It's not only good for radon mitigation and vapor under the slab, so mainly because right now we're at a time of the year where it rains and then at night it freezes. So that's the most dangerous kind of snow / rain. The one that is liquid, then goes into the crevices, freezes, expands, and then breaks things. It's April 23rd and look at this craziness. We just got tons of snow. We have about 8 inches of snow. Look at that. It should be like the last big snowstorm of the year though. People say that after May 10th we should be good, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Today is actually going to be a warm day, so a lot of this is going to be melting out, so what can you do? It's a beautiful place, right? So we've made a mistake. This is not a super rookie mistake, I guess, because, I mean, you need more experience to know these things, but let me show you and then I can explain. What you see here is the line of blocking. It's perfectly on the wall and that looks pretty straight. Except I don't know if you can tell that the joists are getting slightly smaller. We made sure that those joists were cut at precisely the correct length, so I don't have doubts that they are the right size. So what could be the problem? Well, when we started installing the floor system on that side, we noticed that the layout was getting off by a little bit on the subfloor, and we were having to cut a little bit from the subfloor to line it up. Well, I think the problem is actually that we ended up installing the beam that goes across the house at a very slight diagonal. So that's what's causing this other diagonal. So how did we get to that? Well, we measured from the corners of the foundation to where they were supposed to be on one side and then on the other side. Maybe the foundation is not square. I don't know. But what we should have done is we should have run our diagonals from the corner of the foundation on one side to where it's supposed to go on the other and vice versa. And I think that should have solved our problem. This is a 32-foot distance, so and the error is very small, but since the distance is so high, it's multiplying. So what are we going to do? Well, I think the error is approximately about an inch or an inch and a half-ish, which might be okay. So what that means is we're going to be putting the double LVLs with the hangers. Then we're going to be running a choke line, or we're probably going to be running a choke line beforehand, just in case we need to cut the first ones. Then we're going to put it, and then we're going to be sistering additional beams at the end just to pack it in and make sure it's at the proper height. And then the sheeting will come up on top and the house will be perfectly square and all. So we're going to have to slow down a little bit to make sure that this is precise because we don't want this to multiply to the rest of the house. So yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully you can see we have now fixed the problem on the cantilever where we had the offset due to the diagonal. We ended up cutting this side of the joists down by 2¼ inches And then that basically allows us to put 2 rim boards that are 1/8. And so that basically gives us that 2¼ inches. So we have a perfectly straight line. I spoke to the engineer about this. He said, yeah, that's fine as long as the LVLs are within the wall cavity, which is going to be above it. And they are, because they are 3.5 plus 2¼ So that's going to be about 5¾ So the wall is going to be sitting perfectly on top of it. Another thing I wanted to mention is like I said, I spoke to the engineer and he said we needed to put these 5-inch screws every foot up and down just to make sure that the rim boards are properly sistered. One last thing to take care of the floor system is that we put a temporary floor system where the stairs are going to be. This way nobody can fall through the hole or anything, and then we can just take care of it later. It also gives us more area to work with.
So we're almost done with the cantilevers. So here are the remaining items. We need to apply a strip of zip sheeting between those two, and then finish this header with another zip sheeting. And then we're going to apply liquid flash everywhere, and then the zip tape, and then roll it. Don't forget to roll it, and then we'll be done. So let's finish it up. Final details to close out this episode. So our structural engineer didn't like our beautiful 9.5 foot door. So we had to add these guys here and these guys here to bring it down to 8 feet. And he said to never ever do this without asking him ever again. So anyways, let me show you what we have up here. So we were missing a strip of sheeting. So we applied that, we did the zip tape. And then we're adding prosopco in all the joints. And this is really our second layer of the fence, but we're trying to be as airtight as possible. So in reality, that's the second layer because we're going to have soffit, which is going to be our first layer of the fence. And if you like this video, YouTube algorithm doesn't love us too much, so please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye!